Hey there, and welcome. We live in a world that's just completely obsessed with scoreboards, right? It's all about how much money you have, how many likes you get, how big is your success. We're constantly measuring everything. But when it comes to our spiritual life, that scoreboard, it's totally invisible. And that can be, well, really confusing. So the big question is, how do we actually know if we're making any real progress on this inner journey?
I mean, think about it. We put in all this effort, right? We meditate, we pray, we really try to be good people. But then we look around, and our external circumstances, they haven't really changed. The bank account looks the same old problems are still popping up, and that little voice in our head, our ego, just starts screaming, "See, it's not working, you're failing." And let me tell you, this is probably one of the biggest frustrations people face on the inner path.
Okay, so here's the crucial point. That feeling of failure, it almost always comes from one simple mistake. We're measuring our soul's progress with the world's ruler. It's like trying to measure the temperature with a yardstick. We're trying to measure something deep and internal, like peace, with a tool that's designed for something external, like profit. It just doesn't work. We need a whole different set of metrics.
So, to help us reframe how we think about all this, I want to share a really powerful metaphor with you. It's the parable of the Chinese bamboo tree. And trust me, it perfectly illustrates this whole idea of invisible, foundational growth.
So the story goes something like this. Imagine you plant a bamboo seed. You water it, you fertilize it, you take care of it. For one whole year, absolutely nothing happens. 2 years go by, still nothing. 3, 4 years, still just a patch of dirt. Your neighbors are probably looking at you thinking you're crazy for watering dirt. But then, in the 5th year, a tiny little shoot finally breaks through the surface. And get this, in just 6 weeks, it shoots up 90 feet into the air. So here's the question. Did it grow 90 feet in 6 weeks? Well, no, of course not. It grew for 5 years. All that time, the really crucial growth was happening where nobody could see it, underground. It was building this massive, powerful root system that it needed to support that incredible height. And you know what? A lot of us, we're in that root phase right now. So how do you know if your roots are growing? How can you tell that all this inner work is actually paying off, even if you can't see that bamboo shoot just yet? Well, the good news is there are some really clear signs. Let's dive into the first set, which are all about finding a new, deeper kind of inner peace.
All right, sign number 1, and this is probably the most undeniable sign of all. It's not that you suddenly start levitating or seeing bright lights. No, it's way more practical than that. You simply worry less. Now notice what I said there. I didn't say you have fewer problems. Oh no, the bills might still be there, the challenges are still very real. But the panic, the constant anxiety about them, that starts to fade. A flat tire used to be a catastrophe that would ruin your whole week. Now, you just look at it and go, okay, it's a flat tire. Guess I'll make a call. The drama just dissolves.
And this whole thing, it perfectly illustrates a yogic concept called sakshi, which means witness consciousness. Think of it like this. It's the growing ability to watch the movie of your life without screaming at the screen anymore. You start to realize, hey, wait a minute, I'm not just the actor who's totally lost in the plot. I'm the soul watching it all unfold. You start to trust that there's a director behind the scenes who actually knows what they're doing, and the result of that trust, you just sleep better at night, even when things are uncertain. I'm telling you, that right there, that is a spiritual gold medal.
Okay, so sign number 2. And this one's kind of funny. As you grow, you might start to notice you're becoming a little boring. At least to people who live for drama. You know what I mean? You used to love a good argument, you loved proving someone wrong, getting into all the gossip. But now, conflict just feels heavy. It's physically draining. You find yourself in a situation and you just think, you know what? I would so much rather be peaceful than be right. And you just walk away. Your inner silence becomes way more valuable than your outer reputation.
All right, let's jump to sign number 5, which really builds on this idea of inner peace. You start to develop a genuine love for solitude. And look, there's a really important distinction to make here. We're not talking about loneliness, which is that pain of being alone. No, we're talking about aloneness, which is the glory of being alone. You actually start to crave silence. You become your own best friend. You're not constantly running from your own thoughts anymore. You realize you need that quiet time to recharge, to fill up your own cup, so that you actually have more to give when you go back out into the world.
Okay, let's move on. The next group of signs, this is all about a fundamental shift in your perception. It's not just about how you feel on the inside anymore. It's about how you start to see the entire world and everyone in it with totally new eyes, or maybe, more accurately, with your heart.
So sign number 3. I kind of think of this one as the advanced class. This is when you stop just seeing people's bad behavior and you start seeing the deep, deep wound that's causing it. It's like you develop this kind of spiritual X-ray vision.
Let me make this really concrete for you. Imagine someone is just plain rude to you for no reason. The old you, your ego, would have immediately slapped a label on them. What a jerk, right? But the new you, the soul, has a totally different reflex. You pause for a second, and a new thought comes up. I wonder what kind of pain they're in. I wonder who hurt them to make them act this way. Your first reaction isn't anger anymore. It's this gentle, compassionate curiosity. And this simple but incredibly profound phrase just captures the whole idea perfectly. When you really get this, deep down, you stop taking things so personally. You realize that most of the aggression you encounter isn't about you at all. It's just a projection of someone else's inner pain. And once you see that, compassion becomes almost automatic.
Moving on to sign number 4. You know, we're all taught that happiness is sort of an equation. If I get this job and I achieve that goal, then I'll finally be happy. But spiritual growth introduces you to something completely different: causeless joy. It's that incredible moment when maybe everything is going wrong in your life, but this little bubble of pure, unconditioned happiness just rises up in your chest for no reason at all. That is the soul's true nature. That's bliss. You're basically becoming a portable generator of your own joy.
And now for sign number 6. You know, ambition can really make us blind. We get so focused on that big, shiny goal way off on the horizon that we end up trampling all the beautiful little flowers right at our feet. Inner growth, it restores your sight. You start to truly notice and feel this deep gratitude for the small miracles, the taste of your morning tea or coffee, the sound of rain hitting the window, the simple comfort of a warm bed. You make this huge shift from a mindset of what I lack to what I have.
And this just reminds me of a brilliant quote from Thich Nhat Hanh that says it all. The real miracle, it isn't walking on water. The miracle is walking on the green earth and being present for it. It's got appreciating the sacredness of just ordinary life. I mean, when you can find as much genuine joy in watching a sunset as a billionaire finds in buying a new yacht, that's when you know you are truly wealthy.
All right, so now we're coming to the culmination of all these signs. This is the one that shows our inner work is really, truly starting to translate into outer action.
So what's the ultimate sign? It's a genuine eagerness to serve. And I love this metaphor. Think of the ego as a black hole. It's all about contracting, sucking energy in. Give me attention, notice me, praise me. But the awakened soul, it's like a sun. Its very nature is just to radiate energy out. Here, take some warmth, take some light. How can I help? And you can see this shift so clearly in the way our prayers evolve. At first, it might be, God, please give me stuff, like a new car. But over time, that changes into something so much more profound. It becomes a simple, humble request. God, use me. Make me an instrument for your peace. Just show me who I can help today. And when you get to that point, service stops feeling like a burden or a chore, and it becomes a real source of joy.
Okay, so after hearing all of these signs, I have one really important request. Please be gentle with yourself. This is not meant to be another checklist to beat yourself up with. Spiritual growth is not a straight line. It's not a ladder you climb. It's more like a spiral. Some days you'll feel like you're soaring, and other days you might feel like you're looping right back over old territory you thought you dealt with. And that's okay. That's normal. The very fact that you're here, that you're even listening to this and you care about these things, that proves your soul is awake and you're on the journey.
So I want to leave you with a next step, a really simple, practical exercise you can start tonight. For just 1 week, I want you to start a soul journal. Every night before you go to sleep, just write down one inner victory from your day. It could be anything. Maybe you felt frustrated, but you didn't yell. Just write victory, patience. Maybe you felt a wave of anxiety, but you used your breath to calm yourself down. Write victory, peace. By tracking these little wins, you are actively retraining your brain to value what actually matters, and you'll start to see just how much you're already growing. And that brings us to the end, so I'm going to leave you with one final question to reflect on. Tonight, instead of focusing on everything that went wrong or what you didn't get done on your to-do list, I want you to ask yourself this: what inner victory, no matter how small it might seem, will you celebrate tonight? Thanks so much for joining me.